Let's do this.
That works, that works. Wonder why my bot sent a second message. See, I kept my promise. I told you I would be late, but I also told you I wouldn't be as late as last night. I was right on 2 counts. I know, Region. Not last night, night before. Whenever the last time I streamed was. Up. Let's get you out of the way. Oh no, I've doxed some of the music I listen to. I'm so embarrassed. I actually don't care. Anyway, okay. If you were an hour ago, you'd be on time. I hope it helps. Thank you. Hey, but here's the thing. I said in my Discord that I was going to be late, okay? So if I was on time, then that would have made me dishonest. I can't do that. I can't lie to you like that. I would never. I value my integrity. True, you're not a liar. Many things I am. Liar's not one. How are you? Good. I probably haven't mentioned it, but I have rethought my budgeting strategy, and since it's the first day of May, or second day of May, yeah, since it's the first day of May, April is my first month, like, fully implementing it, and I came out of it in the black, not in the red. I came out of it good, so that's a huge success. I'm pretty happy about that. Right. $96% homework output. Now let's talk. You're a Labor Day? Yeah. May Day or whatever. Happy Labor Day. Okay. Okay, I feel ready. Worst holiday ever? There are some pretty bad holidays. I'm not gonna lie. This has some competition. Watch Back to Black. Worst movie in 2024. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. I'm not going to complain about 2 free days. I might complain about 2 free days. Okay. I've never really minded this variation for black. I've always felt comfortable here. Oh, interesting. There's a biopic about Amy Winehouse. I assumed so. I assumed it had something to do with Amy Winehouse. Was it an obvious attempt at a character assassination? Really? Oh, now that's interesting. But why? Usually if it's a character assassination, there's like some sort of agenda. Does somebody not like her or something? Do we think she's a poor influence on the youth? So yeah, she wasn't exactly mentally well. Shocker. I might have been able to take this, but it felt a little bit risky with my king being as open as it was, so I was going to castle first. Drug problems, alcoholism, mental illness. Right. Right. Maybe I could have gotten away with it. Felt risky. I don't know. Maybe I was being paranoid. I tend to do that. Her father wasn't a good influence or helpful, or her ex-husband as well. That just sounds tragic. Oh, I forgot to set a setting on my computer. I always forget something. I always forget something. Ah. So they were involved in the production of the movie. Uh-huh. This is kind of turning sad. And the movie portrays her as a person always headed for destruction. Ooh. So like self-destructive from day one sort of thing? Which isn't true. In reality, she just didn't have the support or help she needed. Interesting. That's a, that's two very different stories. She's just genuinely such a tragic person. That's what I've always heard. Because her life story is just really sad. Again, I've heard that. Now, I'll tell you, I don't know very much about Amy Winehouse. It just doesn't focus on the music she made. Oh, yeah? That's an interesting creative choice. Not focusing on the music. I mean, I guess in theory... it could be an interesting choice to not focus on the music of a musician. But it would require a great deal of tact. Found out that the new aerospace engineering major at the Norwegian Technological University was one of the most applied majors this year. I didn't know that's what you were applying for. Maybe you told me and I just didn't remember, but... I don't know, man. The movie just made me mad because obviously some people tried to clear their name. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, minimize it, but, I mean, that's... unfortunately, part of the reality of media. It can be used to make art. And it can be used to try to push an agenda. Often it does both at the same time. Interesting. It's like almost a dishonest kind of piece. It's interesting. I ignore the rest of my message. I worked hard to write it out. I didn't ignore it. I read it. I just didn't see a super huge reason to read all of it out. I mean... I kind of missed the point. Well, the point is, I was asking a question because I was truthfully unaware if you applied for aerospace. And that changes the point of the message dramatically. So I was legitimately asking a question to aid my interpretation. It's mad to me because it's a person who can't defend themselves. Well, you know. Well, they're such an easy target. So much easier when the target can't defend themselves. I mean, come on. What are we gonna do? Like, actually focus on someone who could fight back and have to defend our points? It can generally be assumed, Norwegian, that either if I read a message and respond to it, I did read the entire message, and I only really ignore messages that I just wouldn't want sent in chat as a kind of precursor to any form of banning or anything like that. Okay. Aerospace law, renewable energy engineering, quantum mechanics, etc. Okay, see, I didn't know that, right? And like I said, completely changes the substance of your message. Imagine having to defend your points. That's why like 90% of medieval philosophers just commented on Aristotle. True! True. Okay, was aerospace the top of your list? And so that's the problem, is the one that's on the top of your list is also on the top of the list of 1,800 other students, with only 25 making the cut. Which, that's crazy, a ratio. I mean, that's pretty harsh. Part of me wants to push b5, but I'm not sure if it's a good move. I think aerospace was at like second place or something, right under law. Basically, I very much wanted to go there, but with 1,800 applicants for 25 students, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, it makes sense. I've been listening to Black to Back. Now, great album. Hey, see? The movie wasn't all bad. It got you to re-listen to Back to Black, right? Also, thank you, Bosco, for the follow. It can't be that bad. It made you go back. It's a good album. That one might be a 10 out of 10. Every time you listen to that album, you have a higher opinion of it. So here's the plan. E6 and then queen b6. I have good grades, sure, but not those grades. My German and English grades... Yeah. Boosted your GPA. And that makes sense. Because the lyrics are just tongue-in-cheek enough to come off as witty and not too self-aware. The instruments are really good and the vocal performances are absolutely wild. I mean, yeah. Amy Winehouse. One of the better vocalists. My German English sent my GPA way down. Oh, pardon me. Okay. So you have grades that are good, but not that good. Like, not good enough that they would be the type to compete in that strict, that competitive of a market. I get what you're saying. I'll say if an album is 10 out of 10 in like 200 years. Well, I mean, objectively rating art is nigh impossible. I'm not sure if it is impossible or not. It's pretty close. No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I don't feel the same way about it, but I do like it quite a lot. No, I know exactly what you mean. My math, physics, and law grades send them up. I have a 6 in physics, math, and law. I have a 3 in German and a 4 in English. That makes sense. Yeah, languages are rough. They really are. They're just like fundamentally different than other subjects. Just in the way they function. Makes them a sore spot for a great deal of people. I'm not a fan of my position. I feel like I should have more than I had. I absolutely coasted on English through high school. That I believe. That I believe. See, one of the nice things about English, from a learning perspective, is how much media there is out there for English, right? So I found that the people I know, younger people who are most successful, are people who consume a lot of English media. So like listening to a lot of music, like critically listening to a lot of music, watching a lot of movies. Even like the iPad kids who are constantly watching YouTube shorts typically have pretty good English. Written English is hard for native speakers. English is just a very bizarre language in its written form. Maybe I should have actually played B5 first. Hold on a second. Written English is rough. Yeah, I should have played B5 before. Playing Rook C8 first, I think, was inaccurate. I'm going to try to be subtle. Time is also on my side here. My opponent's got less than a minute. Probably couldn't gotten higher on written stuff, but I knew that I could just talk for 15 minutes straight about a topic, so I've never tried as hard as I probably should have. That makes sense. I mean... How do I continue? Just preparing to double. I think it's a threat. I'm taking the rook first. Might be incorrect. Hello, Kenya. Is it worth taking the knight? Hold on a second. Because he gets like 3 very strong connected passers if I take the knight. Hold on just a moment. Maybe more. He gets a lot. I think I could just take on a3 afterwards. Tempting the hands of fate a little, but... I suppose I could just play A takes B and my position's easier. Bananas. You know what? True. The fact that I am terrible at languages is pretty sad, since I will have between 4 to 6 grades on my diploma for Norwegian class alone. This leaves us both with permanent weaknesses, but white's looks worse to me. Actually, they can just push immediately. I'm going for it. Risk it to get the biscuit. Kiyu Chess, thanks for the follow. Defensive. How do I play this? This is a very complex position. I'm not sure there was a good reason for me to walk into this. I mean, he has 20 seconds. I should be able to win off that. I'm doing pretty darn well. A little tired. Finals exams in Norwegian high school. Works like their own grade that affect your GPA the same as the whole class. I don't know if it's the same in other countries. I'm actually going to take this to prevent him from having any passers immediately. Okay, that's a pretty interesting solution. What do I take? I'm taking this. This could be wrong. I'm not sure which one of those two I should have taken. I will go here, keeping pressure on this, attacking this, and attacking the pawn. Right. Now I take here. I'm threatening this. He sees it. Let's get some pieces active. Did I mess up? No, I didn't. I think I'm fine. Oh, I missed that. Oh, I choked so hard. Give me a second. So what was the mistake? The mistake was going for this, I suppose. Oh, I missed that completely. That's a very clever setup. So bishop f8 first was the move. Yeah? Maybe not even that. Queen a8 might have also been good. I should have been more careful. I was extremely reckless, and that lost me the game. Sorry, I had like 30 seconds on my clock, and so whenever my time is that low, I can't read chat briefly. The finals in high school here do act as a separate thing. Didn't I say I was doing good? I felt like I said I was doing good. Don't remember. Either way, I'm doing pretty well. A little tired, but I've got plans to improve my sleep schedule, and so it's going to be fun. What am I doing? This is garbage. Why am I playing like this? Also have a new tattoo idea? Oh yeah? Another band? Exclam join to join the queue. Since when are you streaming? I mean, when did you do your first ever stream? Oh, that was a long time ago, like 2.5 years ago. It's been a hobby of mine for a while. I just enjoy it, you know? Find it relaxing. You know the song Chocolate Night? Of course I know the song Chocolate Night. I love that song. Love that song. Excellent song. Yeah, join the queue so you can ask my gamer to finish this one. Absolutely. Absolutely I can. So the art for the single is a little caveman guy with a gun. Yeah, I remember that. I feel like I've seen it. I like this as a move. I would love to do that. I don't think I can, but I would love to. I'm just going to keep being annoying. So I just kind of want to yoink that. It's not the worst idea. Oh, that's a lot. I just started. I was wondering if you have some advice for me. I mean, the playing with viewers tag on Twitch has worked very well for me for quite a long time. So that's just a useful thing to put on. That's pretty easy. Other than that, I mean, if you've got the technical side of it down, also thank you for the follow queue. If you have the technical side of it down, that's a good part of it. But you just, I mean, I know I did a very poor example when you showed up, but just responding to people. The quickest thing that'll make people leave a stream is when they feel like they're being ignored. You know? Which makes sense. People just don't want to be ignored. From the merch of a band called Modern Baseball. I feel like you've told me about them before. Are they one of the Midwest emo bands? Something related to the album Summer Death. So you got a lot of ideas. So you got a number of ideas. Okay, I don't actually want to give up this knight right quite yet. So I'm just going to plop it here. Looks like a good square. Over defends this pawn, attacks this pawn, attacks this pawn. Again, I played an absolutely atrocious opening here, but I think we're recovering okay. They're Midwest emo adjacent. Okay, okay. I think, I swear I've heard you mention them. I'm not in love with my position, but I've really played a lot worse. He has bishop here at some point. I can... This might be a little optimistic. But if I can get away with this, and then play f4, that would be fantastic. Again, might be a little optimistic. It is highly likely that I've mentioned them. That makes sense. If I can get away with this, this is amazing for me, but I'm not sure I can. So my idea here is after he moves the bishop, I want to go... If he moves to d6, I take the pawn. Yeah. And then I either take the bishop or take the rook, depending on if he lets me take the rook or not. I mean, boy. Because now I'm threatening a fork, right? And this isn't as much material as it looks like it is. Because I'm pretty sure he can just give me the exchange. That being said, an exchange is an exchange. So, like, I am hardly complaining. That is a very weird move. That looks incredibly suspicious. I feel like that knight's getting trapped. No, it's not getting trapped, it is trapped. Now, he would have to... What was the plan? Let's just get out of the way of any discoveries. No need to be hasty. If we take the knight now, he can take here with check and then take the bishop next move. Yeah, I mean, this is just another piece. Okay, we're chilling. I'm Adelson, remember you? Remember me? I do remember Adelson, the name. Okay, so you're the person who followed 4 hours ago. I can't rematch. If you're listening to this, Will, I would like to, but I can't because I told someone outside to analyze their game. Why do you have subtitles? Because why not? Summer Death one is difficult because I need to come up with a design based on the lyrics or song titles because they don't have something that's easy to tattoo. Yeah, that's the thing. Both Troglodyte and Ants from Up There are both like such striking images that it's really easy to have a tattoo of those, you know? Okay, let's see what kind of game we got going here. How have you been, Adelson? Knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6, castles, knight takes c4. Yeah. No, it makes sense to me. Again, I wouldn't want that song, a tattoo from that song, because it's a little harsh for my taste. However, that being said, I still completely understand it as something to get a tattoo of, because it's such a it's such a visceral sort of image. It's the song itself is very visceral. It like compresses a lot of meaning. Yeah, Q's pretty slow tonight, but that's nice. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. So far so good with the opening. I'm not super familiar with this opening, I'm not going to lie to you. However, I like Troglodyte a lot. Again, it's not my favorite song from the album, but it's like top 4. Maybe top 3. This is all really good so far. I'm just F6 makes me uncomfortable. The reason F6 makes me uncomfortable is because this diagonal is a little open, makes me a little nervous. This bishop is shut in and is now a very bad piece. This bishop coming to F6 is an idea, and I would say is even the idea. You almost want to play this now. You might not want to, but like it's the idea. So something like bishop e6 is to me a lot more natural. You guard the pawn and you allow this bishop to still be free. Favorite being? Probably cognitive trade-off hypothesis. Probably cognitive trade-off hypothesis. And you didn't forget, I don't think I've ever mentioned. F6 is one of the main ideas. The diagonal isn't that open, and the dark squared bishop usually goes to F8. Okay, in that case, go for it. Again, like I said, I'm not familiar with this opening. So if you can explain to me what the idea is and why it's fine, then, I mean, go for it. Because, again, both of those things aren't as that big of a deal. The bishop coming to this diagonal, he doesn't have a light squared bishop to attack the diagonal with. So that's not too terrible, like you said. And the bishop coming to F8, I still don't super understand the future. However, that being said, stabilizing as step 1 doesn't make no sense because you do have the bishop pair. And so just trying to play around that because your opponent has a nice developmental lead makes sense. Playing a little bit more, not carefully necessarily, but I just like it a lot. I also like Baby Criminal. I would say those are probably my top 2. And then it's probably Troglodyte, and then Ain't No Thief. I'm partial to Punk Rock Loser. I don't care for that one as much, but that one to me is the same as Big Shot from, not the same, but like it's the same genre of me not liking it as Big Shot from Skinty Fia, where it's like, okay, I get what you're doing, I just don't like the way it handles it, you know? Again, I get it, it's not a bad song, it just doesn't particularly appeal to me. Okay, knight f5. Okay. D5. Knight at D4. Queen D3. Hold on a second. That's a very nice move. Wow. That's a very nice move. Very relatable, yes. That's definitely why I like it. That's pretty. That's a really nice move. Sheesh. See, this is really an instructive moment, right? It's like, it's easy to take one of these pawns and call it a day, but going for check first ties the opponent down because now they have to go here to develop their bishop. And so now you can very easily play c takes d5, and your opponent is really just squished. That's pretty. I mean, that was just a very clean game of chess. Again, f6 isn't the move that comes to mind for me specifically. However, you played around it very, very well. Again, this is the sort of thing where I say that if you can argue for why the move is good and it's not like obviously a blunder, then I almost didn't play rook e8 because I thought f3, but then I realized it's pinned. But that's just, again, this completely shuts him down. And just, there's nothing he can do anymore. Again, complete reduction of any counterplay. No counterplay whatsoever. Very nice. Even this flourish is nice. I know the computer doesn't call it best, but I really don't care. It's pretty. I think the computer's just drunk. I think this is definitely best. Very clean game of chess. You just dissected your opponent. Where did white go wrong here? He put his knight on a square where it was weak. He created a weakness that he had no business creating. Yeah. So your opponent played too recklessly. Yeah, no, I have, my depth is weird, so for me, it doesn't show 100%, but I really, like, it's very, very high accuracy. Think you should put the pawn on c3 and not the knight? That's also possible. I see the argument. You know, I could see that. c3, bishop f4, knight bd, knight d2. Yeah, I agree. I'm inclined to agree. Again, but that's the kind of the problem. Your opponent wasn't thinking in the right direction. He thought, okay, I've got this center and I've got this well-placed knight. I need to do something now and I need to attack. The problem is he just doesn't have enough of an initiative to start anything really meaningful. And so he played in a extremely positionally reckless way, where he basically cemented this pawn as a weakness. He removed ideal retreat square from the knight and left a bishop on the back rank, while also still making this pawn even more weak. And then he put the knight on a completely undefended square other than the queen. This is asking for tactical problems, right? This is only justifiable if he manages to win the game extremely quickly. Which I think he was thinking he could. Or maybe even had to. Maybe could is even the wrong word. That's the problem. But either way, it was absolutely the wrong plan. And so now his position is much harder to play. But queen d1 here is such an ugly move that you don't want to play. Because then, you know, the shoe's on the other foot. So yeah. Learning to attack is a very important starting point of chess, but as you start getting better, learning when to attack becomes even more important. Your opponent had decent attacking technique, but the position wasn't right for it. And so his position got harder, and then he just blundered. Again, bishop c5 is a really nice find, though. I like it quite a lot. Very instructional stuff. Very short game, both in time and in move count. I also don't think he should have played b takes c6. I mean, I wouldn't have played b takes c, but he, like, there's an argument, right? He's saying, okay, I'm going to double your pawns first, and you're going to have to play around this. Now, that being said, your bishops are very open, and the center is pretty open as well, so giving you the bishop pair I don't think is advisable either. Again, but this is to me like f6. I mean, f6 is better, but my point is it's in the same category where I'd say I wouldn't play it. However, if the opponent did a really good job playing around it, then I would have been okay with it, right? Like if the opponent had been really intentional and subtle, he could have played around the knights versus the bishops. And I think he could have gotten a completely reasonable position, you know? Like, played very, like, nuanced, positional, smart chess, right? I wouldn't have done it. Even that being said, I wouldn't have gone for it. I don't care for it. But it's not terrible. And there is an argument. There is a reason it could have been good. Your opponent just, again, had completely the wrong plan for the position. I mean, yeah, but it's a book move, but still, I don't care if it's a book move. There are bad book moves. Bad book moves totally exist. Again, it's not best, and I don't particularly like the way the position looks for white. I would not play this. However, someone could play this. So I could see a strong player using this variation to beat another strong player, right? It would just, it would require white to understand what he's doing. Again, this is like f6 to me. I wouldn't play it. However, it could work. The difference is that your opponent didn't understand the position the way you understood the position after f6. Fundamentally. And so he went about it with the complete wrong plan. Just the absolute wrong plan. And he paid the price for it. Because, like, part of white's advantage here is the fact that black's pieces are a little far backwards. He can get better central control immediately. And white just doesn't have any weaknesses, frankly. This is a little annoying for black to deal with because it makes it harder for black to gain a good central foothold the way he'd want to. But white has no such problems. But by playing d4 and then knight c3, he's given himself a weakness. And he's completely defeated the purpose of his own opening play, right? And all of that for an attack which itself isn't super sound. I'm trying to think, Rexpor. This has been a pretty weak year for music so far, yeah? I'm trying to think of something that I would say is better, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. What's been released this year? What has released this year? I have to listen to the Justice album. Justice released an album that I liked a few of the songs, a few of the singles from. But 21 Pilots' new album comes out in like 2 weeks. We'll see how that is. But yeah, I can't think of anything better than it came out. I might agree with you. Very nice game of chess, though. Very instructional. There's a lot, even though there's very small number of moves. I think that's the biggest mistake he made. Even though the engine says it's still alright. I agree and disagree. Knight c3 I don't like, but I don't like knight c3 and d4. If you go knight c3 in a position like this, it's completely fine. The difference is you don't have the weakness on d4, right? The problem is that he created a weakness for himself, when the primary benefit of his position is that he doesn't have any weaknesses. Yeah. Again, he just fundamentally, I completely agree with you. d4, knight c3, just incorrect. And I know the engine says it's fine, but I go back to the thing I always say about any positions that the engine says it's fine. Yes, it's fine objectively, however, it makes the position harder to play, and that's a bad move. Tortured Poet Society is obviously album of the year. It's album of the century, man. I don't know how she did it. Taylor stays winning. Swifties eating good. I haven't even listened to any of it because I really just I cannot be bothered. No. Tortured Poet Society, obviously album of the year. And everyone who doesn't like it is just a hater who is frustrated that a woman is having success in the music industry. Any questions? Very nice game of chess. Okay. Adelson, it's your turn. Hello, local. Misogynistic hater. Exactly. That's my point. Everyone. Great emoji. Amazing emoji. The Kendrick diss was crazy. I know. I mean, everyone expected it to be good, but man. Just art. New Imagine Dragons album this year? Wait, are you kidding? Why? What's up? How you doing? Doing pretty darn well. Guess who the game's against? Obviously some super grandmaster. Very handsome, judging by his profile picture. Am I about to embarrass myself publicly? Okay, no, we're chilling. I'm not embarrassing myself publicly. Yeah, this is my funny anti-London line that I used to play. Now that I'm a Dutch player, I can't do it as much, but... Confirm you can catch every diss and reference off the first listen. I know, of course you can. I mean, it's Kendrick. What, like, you were never going to be able to. I just didn't expect it to be as surgical as it was. Like, that's what got me about it, is it's just so very precise. Everything is very measured. Like, he was mad, but it was very, very measured. And even in that. And that's very impressive. June 28th, mark your calendars. Oh, no. Hello, Gloin. Also, thank you, Freezing Fireball, for the follow. I mean, Drake was asking for it, literally. And, I mean, he got it. Yeah, no. No, he really... That was a fantastic song. Want a rematch? I want to show that I'm not that bad? Do you now? Well, seeing as there's nobody in the queue currently, that can be arranged. Yeah, I mean, this is just difficult because you just gave me a rook early in the game. Well, let's see. Let's see if you've learned. Let's see if you've grown as a chess player and as a person. Went to a tournament today, and there was like a bunch of books for free, and brought home a total of 1,200 euro value of books. Wow, that's so cool. Lucky duck. I have to pay for my chess books, and so I have a few, but man, they're expensive. So 1,200 euros of chess books. What's that? Like 3 books? Okay, let's see. Let's see what you got, Allison. I want to hear you. I want to hear it. 2024 seems such a bad year for music. Again, I need to listen to the Justice album, because they did like 3 singles and I liked 2 of them. And then the 21 Pilots album, I really like Overcompensate, but I don't care for Next Semester. So we'll see. I have some hopes. There's some pearls in there. Just 5 books for 800 bucks already. I'm telling you. Like some upcoming albums. It's literally nothing. Yeah. We'll see, right? You never know. The good stuff is always the stuff you don't expect. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. 21 Pilots hit hard if I had any nostalgia for them. That's true. I have quite a bit. But even then, Scaled Back and Icy was terrible. It was just not good. Still holding out for a BCNR release. That would save the year. BCNR release would save the year. They're playing like an album new material apparently. Okay, so it could happen. It's not that much of cope. It's not that much of a cope. It could happen. Actually, let's trade pieces now that I think of it. I'm going to take with knight and then play a4. Here, ever talks about guns and somebody die, they turn into nuns, then hop online, like, pray for my city. He faking for likes and digital hugs. I mean, there's so many good lines. It was just a really strong track. Here's lack of shows from May to August. We might get a BCNR album. I would be very excited for that. That would frame 1 become the most anticipated release of the year for me. Fontaine's DC in August could be good. It could be. I still, after re-listening, I don't really care for the first single. But I mean, even Skinty Fia, which is an album I really do like quite a lot, has 1 or 2 songs I'm not a huge fan of. So I mean, if there is a greater goal and a sub-goal that you believe will help achieve the greater goal, but you also believe that a greater goal probably is unachievable, is a sub-goal worth pursuing? I know that this is obviously a way too broad question, but any reflections? Way too broad questions are like my middle name. Singles, eh? See, for me, like, philosophically, I feel like chasing unachievable goals is important if the goal is truly a good thing, and it's better by getting closer. You know, like, very stupid, very stupid example, but everybody lies at least a little. However, chasing the goal of lying none is, in my opinion, worth doing, even though it's impossible, because the closer you get, the better it is. So chasing that infinite goal is worth doing. You know, it's the Sisyphusian thing. Fontaine's DC dropping soon? August, yeah. Yeah, it really is the most exciting month for hip-hop in years. Absolutely. Drake, Kendrick, Kanye, J. Cole, Rick Ross, The Weeknd, Future. You're forgetting Chris Brown. I'd literally kill for a new BCNR. I would too. That would make it. That would be good. Now, we'll see if Drake really has his music where his mouth is, or if he'll sulk away into the shadows like he did versus Pusha T. Now, obviously, this wasn't a story of Addy and level of destruction, but, you know. Okay, so. Adelson. Don't take this pawn. It's really good, but I don't really think I find myself listening to it over and over. The intro is addicting, though. Oh, it's so addicting. Concord is, in my opinion, one of the finest songs ever put to digital media, ever put to anything. Yeah, I know that too. There's like a whole war going on. Chris Brown and Quavo, they're having their little duel on the side, completely unrelated to Drake and Kendrick happening at the same time. It's a side event, you know. When you need to cool off from the Drake Kendrick stuff, you go, you listen to that, you know, eat some popcorn, then you come back, right? You need something to keep you focused in like the weeks between the releases. Concord is just, every time I listen to that song, I like it more. Okay, so you don't want to take this pawn, because taking this pawn lets me push. In the same way, you don't want to play this, because the same idea is true. You end up giving me this big center with no meaningful compensation. Place is fantastic. Place is my second favorite song from the album, but it used to be my favorite, but Concord has eclipsed it. The place where he inserted the blade is just, again, it used to be my favorite song from the album, now it's my second favorite. Holdern is probably third, but it might be second. Unfortunately, Flicks, it is not Knife. Unless you're talking about a different song from a different album. Maybe, maybe, I don't know. Please from Up Yonder or something? That was an opening I don't play. Well, it's not about not about the opening moves in the theory. It's about knowing when to take and when not. Again, taking, you have to think about, if I push, where does this knight go? I would have to go back. From Partisan Water Apartment. Exactly. It's a brief chess line Chris Brown to say against Quavo. I'm playing chess with a checkers player. I know. Not too big of a line, just helps the flow and set rhyme scheme what he's going with. Yeah, but that's a bit of a overdone line, right? I mean, I'm not offended by it, but there's very poor chess representation in hip-hop. You get a bunch of chess checkers lines, which are all sound the same, and then you get first-person shooter having the chessboard set up wrong. The place is my heart, true. Holdern makes me stare out at the ceiling in a good way. Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. I was just about to say what Alco said. Really? I believe it. Again, just defend the pawn. Letting your opponent get a center in the early game is very risky. You have to make sure that you're getting compensation. You have to calculate the stuff always. And then afterwards, you just kind of accidentally blundered a piece. So, hilariously, we're all going to be forever alone. We're on Chess Twitch. I'm sorry, guys, but we don't stand a chance. Anyway, so hilariously, you talked about how you weren't going to fall for the same thing, but you ended up doing a similar sort of thing, which is falling for an opening trick and losing a piece early. Got a national test tomorrow. I'm sad. Got to get an A. What subject is it? Or is national meant to be the subject and I just don't know what I'm talking about? That's entirely possible. Swedish. Okay. How confident do you feel? How do you feel about it? Nationals are basically finals? I assumed as much. That was my guess, but I can never be sure. Well, I got A in the last test, which is what the National is on, but still. Okay. So, it's scary because tests are always scary. However, it's not... It doesn't feel impossible. Snow globes don't shake on their own. Snow globes I have mixed feelings about, which I think is thematically appropriate because, you know, snow globes themselves are kind of mixed. You know? It's part of the art. It's an intentional ploy. They don't want snow globes to be too good, because then your feelings on it wouldn't be mixed. I like the drum part. Isn't the entire song the drum part? Okay, give me a second. This guy knows his theory. Oh, no. He knows his theory. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so we wait for h4 to play h5. In this position... Is bishop c4 too slow? Not bishop. Is knight c4 too slow? Sometimes it is in these lines. It's a5. Ah, it's been forever since I played this line. Nobody plays this line against me. I'm not complaining. I think it is knight c4. Either or is fine. I haven't listened to any either or, so I wouldn't know. Charlie Wayne is going absolutely wild. True. I think it's great. Oh, really? The Marua release, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I absolutely agree that it's the best release of the year so far. I mean, again, competition, not exactly the most fierce. Been a pretty weak year for releases thus far. However, it is very strong. BCNR has 520k monthly listeners. One of those people has to be my soulmate. Yeah, the laws of math demand that at least one soulmate exists in that set. Can confirm. I think this will go here. I feel like this is just a good square for this piece regardless. Either Or is an album by Elliott Smith. Thank you. I appreciate it. I haven't listened to much Elliott Smith in general, though, so... That is not something I would have been able to know. But you know we don't go outside, so like they don't exist. They could exist. I mean, I guess they both exist and don't exist at the same time. You know, like Schrodinger's soulmate. A quantum set of possible soulmates, where the moment you look is where the universe decides, or when the universe decides whether or not the soulmate exists or not. This is kind of a scary position. I might have messed this up. Oh, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. I'm literally one move short. That's so annoying. I'm gonna go back to d8 because I don't think this is good. I don't think he has anything better than to just repeat. Because this knight doesn't have anywhere to go. Like I just saw him. Why would I get around to get dirt on people? I got a sun to raise, but you don't know nothing about that. Oh, that was brutal. Just, that entire, like, you don't know nothing about that refrain that he did is just nasty, man. I'm telling you, that was just disrespectful. My opponent's playing incredibly well. I'm considering sacking the exchange, but the problem is I don't think I have enough for it quite yet. I do have better pieces. I don't know if they're that much better. Like, I'm considering just takes, then like knight d7. The point being my knight then comes to e4, e5, sorry. So I feel like if I play rook c8, it's incredibly slow. Maybe I go rook c7. No, rook c7 gives him knight d5 with tempo. Rough position. Painted myself into a corner. Drake's Ghost Rider have to lock in. Yeah. I enjoy the sadness of Elliott Smith's songs a lot. I also like the lyrical ambiguity that a lot of his songs seem to have. To me, it's just a bit heavy. And if a BCNR fan is telling you that your artist is heavy, then sheesh. What is your song as your current go-to for feeling good? Okay, wait, do you mean for when I'm feeling good, or do you mean if I want to feel good? Like, am I already feeling good, or am I trying to make myself feel good? That's my question. Because that changes the answer. Make yourself. Okay, let me think. Ooh. Depends a lot on my mood. And how bad I feel. Right? Because if I feel just terrible, I'll listen to something off of Untrue, usually Etched Headplate. Not because it makes me feel good, but because it kind of stabilizes me to some degree. It makes me feel less terrible, right? And then I'll move on to something else, which helps a little bit more, and then we'll keep moving in that direction. And then eventually I'll feel better. It's got a whole progression. I'm surprised he let me get away with this. I'm not saying this is a good position for me, but I'm saying I'm a lot more active now than I was 2 moves ago. And letting me be active is something I'm surprised he did. Okay. Then I like this a lot. Did you hear Euphoria? I absolutely did. We've been talking about it like half the stream. Really want a new band to get obsessed with again? I know, it's been a while. Alright, I gotta go shower so I can sleep and get good grades and hopefully achieve what I aspire to. Go for it, Flix. I believe in you. I think I take. Then just go and take with pawn and I go king h7. But not let the queen in. Makes sense, right? This knight's pretty good on e7, but I don't think it's quite as good as it looks. Maybe I'm stupid, and that the knight's actually the best piece on the board, and I'm going to lose because of it, but I'm thinking it's a little bit of a bluff. In 20v1, it's a 1v20 if it got a smack. The guy's that right for you? Right with you, sorry, not for you. I know. Again, Kendrick just had so many bars. It was so good. Again, I'm looking for it. Oh, I'll see. I really haven't heard anything like legendarily fantastic since Ants from Up There. I've heard a lot of good stuff, just nothing that was that tier, that level of amazing, you know? Have you heard about H.G. Wells? Is there something new that I don't know? Because I know, like, of H.G. Wells, but I don't know of anything like, oh, this H.G. Wells thing just happened. I know just stuff that's, I know of him as an author. That's a very weird move. It makes me want to go here. It might be stupid. Maybe this, and then bring the knight in somewhere else. I don't know. Part of me wants to just take, but I'm a little nervous. Because I feel like it's too easy. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't see what he's planning, and I don't like that at all. Is he going... he's probably planning knight f5? It's probably knight f5. Does that make sense? Yeah. In that case, if I can get away with this, it's a very good move. Going for it. Reading The Time Machine, nothing new? I haven't read The Time Machine. I've seen the movie, but... Again, so now knight f5 is well met by just bishop takes, and then either knight g4, maybe even rook g4. And I don't feel too threatened in that position. I've got to be careful. Again, I'm really playing very ambitiously. But now, like, stuff like knight f3 might be even stronger. But again, there are always threats of knight f5 that I have to be careful about, because I can never take its mate, and I can never not take because mate, right? So I have to make sure that I always have something guarding the f5 square. Which is possible, I can do that, I just have to be very intentional about it. Also, time is a huge problem, so I need to start playing a little faster. So, I might not keep up with chat as well or as quickly, but I'm going to be trying to. Knight f5 is still a thing? I don't think so. It might be, but knight f5, I think I just take. And after rook takes, I play like knight g4, rook g4, something like that. Taking rook set? I'm not taking the rook, though. That's the thing. I could just leave the rook on f5. Or, like I'm saying, play rook g4, attack the queen, and then take the rook afterwards, if I'm feeling ambitious. I'm not sure I want to do that. It's very risky, but I can go for it. I can try, right? I don't have to take the rook immediately. In fact, I actually have to not take the rook immediately, right? Yeah, see? And he doesn't even go for it for that reason. At least I assume it's for that reason. Although I don't understand that move either. What is he playing for? If I go queen c4, what's his next move? Is it 93? It would have to be, right? What if I just play queen c6? What then? He goes knight e7, then I bring the queen to c4 in that position. Knight f4 I don't think is a good move. And this, I was thinking allows queen c4. Me personally, I just hang my queen in this position. You know, that's a good idea. I should have thought of that. But I decided I would hang an exchange instead because I felt like that was more interesting. You know, if I hang a queen, hanging a queen is so cliche. You know? Everybody hangs their queen. I want to do something different. So I'm hanging an exchange. Knight f3. Not now, but in a move or two, knight f3 might be very good. This might be stupid. It's entirely possible this is stupid. I just don't have time to calculate anything more concretely good for me. I think knight f3 is still a threat. I need to play faster. I'm playing too slow. I'm very conflicted. I don't have time. Again, I'm not reading chat right now because I don't have time. I have 27 seconds on the clock, and this is an incrementless game. I will read the messages once I'm done. Again, knight f3 is my current threat. I don't see an easy way for him to stop it. Maybe he could play like rook e3. If he plays rook e3, what do I do? No, I have knight c4 there. Yeah, I don't think he should let me do that. Knight c4 looks very strong. Doesn't have a good move for his knight. Knight f5, bishop takes, doesn't work. I just have to make sure the bishop stays guarding either the bishop or the... Bro is sneaky. That's a crazy move. I don't have time. Time is the problem. If I had more time, I would be okay. Because I'm very, very almost okay in this position. Like, this rook is scary looking, but he doesn't have a threat. Don't have time. Three seconds is not enough. Unless he blunders checkmate. I don't even have a safe pre-move. Never in any doubt. We're winning. We're chilling. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Gotcha. I never got why the Smiths are considered male manipulator music. No man who actively listens to the Smiths has any women to manipulate. Based. Me personally, I just hang my queen. Yeah. What if you sacked your queen and played knight of 3? I don't think it works. That's not a good. Keffel's being back and doing weird stuff is not a good thing, Rexploit. My heart. I think at the end I was actually doing okay, but if I actively listen to the Smith, shh, don't self-report. What happens with someone who doesn't play Bullet plays someone who doesn't play Bullet? I play some Bullet. I've been actually trying to play a little bit of Bullet recently. I haven't been doing very well at it, but I have been playing some Bullet. I was expecting knight takes, truthfully. And I was like, okay, I'm not the most dead in this position. And that was my logic. It's just I'm not the most dead. Hate Keffels with a burning passion. I feel bad for her. No one who's had that much internet access that early in life is going to have healthy development. Why does Chess.com have this new stuff? I actually kind of like it. I think it's fun. I understand why someone else wouldn't. So let's go back to what we were talking about before. What we were saying is if knight f5, bishop takes f5, rook takes f5. The problem is I just don't have to take the rook. There's nothing prompting me to take the rook in this position, right? Oh yeah, I know. My opponent should have done that, but I'm not my opponent. And I was just going for the mate threat because I felt like I could pre-move captures here, and then it's hard for him to play next move. I might just pre-move the rook queen e1 or something. Okay, Saitos is the next person because he's the only person. Again, we've been just doing one person at a time. Pretty chill. Hey, but that means I lost one game and won two, so I am getting my elo back, guys. I want my elo back, elo back, elo back, elo back, elo back, elo back, elo back. Bet. Did you just challenge me to a bullet game? What do you think is the most common word in the world? The. It's probably something stupid like the. Maybe a and. No, thank you. Nice. Trust, guys, I am an expert at the bullet. I mean, pawn structure is pawn structure, you know? This is a very stupid way of playing chess. I will be taking that. Thank you so much for your generous donation. I am le stupid. Okay. Hello, Kishoff. Hello, pigeons. Long time no see. How you been? Just proved 24 moves and nailed it while I had 2.5 seconds and made the guy with 0.1 seconds. That's called gaming. I.e. most languages having in common. Oh. I. Personal pronoun. Sounds right, at least. Well, to be fair, in my defense, I also didn't notice how much time there was on the clock, so... Just a moment, fellas. I'm just gonna hit him with the classic. Haha, sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky guy. That was a stupid move. Oh, never mind. It was genius. Just too slow. No, I'm not decent. I'm a 600 and I'm stuck. Chess.com shows Sicilian is the most played black opening. I believe that. So far, so good. Show me the money. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. One could even say we're cooking. Taking that, then that, then that, and that. Got him. You should try the modern bullet, maybe. I'll have a good one, fish. I'll go listen to ants that stare at the ceiling as one does on Wednesday night. Good plan. I'll keep the grind going. You have a beautiful, brilliant stream. Thank you so much. I'll play one more. See, this is why I don't like playing Bullet on streams, because I feel like I can't commentate nearly as well, because I have to focus so much on playing the actual game itself. You know what I mean? I'll take the endgame. Oh, he doesn't want the endgame. Of course he doesn't want the endgame. I'm stupid. Got him. Got him. Whoops. If you try, fail, and succeed, which have you done? Nothing. Okay, I'll do one more so it's a best of 5. Who wins in a fight, Kratos or Batman? How much prep time does Batman have? How much prep time we given Batman? Whoa, that's a move. I mean, I guess bullet is bullet, right? It's just very bullet. Okay, thank you for the piece. Appreciate the most generous donation. And we trade queens. No back rank mate for you. That's what I thought. Ooh. It's not checkmate. Batman, whole lot of prep time. Kratos gets prep time too. Do you have any tips to play better? I would have to see one of your games. Or play against you. Either case, join the queue. Because it's really it varies. It's a case-by-case basis. I told you guys I've been practicing at Bullet. I'm not good at Bullet by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been practicing. Bro, you demolish me? That's why I play unrated against viewers. Again, or just send in the game you want me to review. I can do that too. You don't have to play against me. It's your choice. I always play unrated against viewers though, even these games. See, I told you all I've been practicing. I'm not good by any stretch. Don't get me wrong. I'm not claiming to be Hikaru over here. But, come on. Played and seen God of War games, know about Kratos, right? Yeah, I know vaguely. Yeah, but like... Kratos is not going to be stronger than Superman, right? And Batman with infinite prep time beats Superman. Therefore, Batman with infinite prep time beats Kratos. Yeah? Don't even know how to play unrated? I would just send you a challenge. You tell me your chess.com name and I would send you a challenge. Give me a second. I need to send a text message. I need to send a text message. Where's the group chat? Here it is. Synonym for the word synonym. Equivalent word. I mean, don't even know. Wait, my grammar got bad? No worries. Want a battle? You just want to test my skills? Excellent. Okay, what's your chess.com name? Okay. Addicted chess player. Excellent name. Let me see. Sorry. Hello, Atlantic Pirate. How you doing? Pretty well. A little tired, but life's good. Okay, I'm sending you an unrated 10-0 challenge. I mean, that works too. Again, if you don't want to send me a challenge, that's fine. I don't care who sends who. I just watch gold be at 2400. Yeah, it's actually a Magnus Carlsen on his alt account. Okay. Let's see what you got. Oh, you know that crazy aggressive Patricia engine? I've heard of it. I haven't messed with it at all. Yes, it's a chess engine that works very similar to Stockfish. However, it's designed to sacrifice some playing strength in order to be insanely aggressive. So Stockfish is like, what's the difference? Stockfish is like 3,500 elo, and Patricia's only like 33 or 32. But Patricia just sacrifices pieces like a madman. It's against Sicilian at high depth. It recommends the wing gambit. But that's, again, that's Patricia. Like Torch? No, but like insanely aggressive. You don't understand. The entire design philosophy is sacrifice as many pieces. Tried to get into an open Sicilian and see what it plays, but you have to pry it away from playing b4 at any opportunity. Again, Patricia, it's the entire design philosophy is be a psychopath. That's priority 1. Priority 2 is good chess. Yeah, the wing gambit, e4, c5, b4. It's dubious. I'm just saying it's crazy that it's recommended. it would be crazy if it were any other engine. With it being Patricia, doesn't surprise me even remotely. Still pretty funny though. That's what I mean. But that, again, that's Patricia. The point of it as an engine is it will play dubious lines and then try to beat you in them. It's not designed to play the best moves. It's designed to play the best sacrifice, the best aggressive move. If there's a better move that's defensive, it won't play it. It'll play the aggressive move anyway. I'm oversimplifying the way it works by a lot, but that's you get the idea. You have to try and play it. The engine or the wing gambit? The engine is very funny. I like it a lot. I intend to mess with it at some point. I just have a ton of things that I'm just so very like busy, and when I'm so very busy, I end up doing nothing. Like the absolute peak human being I am. I dislike the wing gambit. I do too. Yeah, I like the Evans gambit. Well, the Evans is better than the wing gambit, so that makes sense to me. Checks out. Engine is funny, but it's not too good to prep with, not gonna lie. Oh, of course not. It's good to prep with, like, prep for your friends at the chess club. Like, okay, what does my homie know? What does my homie play? And then find the most goofy garbage you can, and then play it against him, and confuse everybody. Profit. Is the Evans and the exchange Kara? And when the best you got is the exchange Kara, it's painful. You know, there are more gambits than that are good. Going on holiday soon, so no chess for a week? Wait, why does going on holiday mean no chess? Mean no chess. Not allowed to bring a chess set? Cringe. Then just boycott it. Simple. Boycott the event. That is true. You know what? I'll give you that, Gone. Parents for real, for real, for real, for real. My mom was still confused to why I enjoy chess so much. So is mine, but she's like okay being confused. She's like, I'll never get it, but I don't need to get it. You like it, that's enough for me. And so I appreciate it. She's supportive. Get her to play Bullet and she'll understand? No. Don't do that, actually. Do like anything but that. I mean, she's been in stream a few times. We all have seen her around. She doesn't even know how the pawn moves. Then you failed as a son. Kidding, of course, unless. I tried teaching her, I promise. That's what they all say. Thank you, Gon. Someone who gets it. It's not that complicated. In fact, it's even more than not that complicated. It's that simple. Okay, let's learn. If you don't make your mom a bullet fiend, why even? You win, bro. I can't do nothing. Fair enough. Now, let's see. Let's see what we learn. Okay. Okay. So, first things first, this is technically an opening. This is technically a thing you can play. However, I wouldn't recommend it. Do you know why I wouldn't recommend it? Yeah. No, it's instructive because I'm trying to understand what we're dealing with, what I'm dealing with here, you know? Didn't even know I did one? Well, we'll learn. That's why we're here, right? That's why we think about the games afterwards. So, this is an opening you can play, however, I don't recommend it. The reason I don't recommend it is because it's what I would say counter-principled. It goes against some of the normal rules that we try to apply to chess in the opening, right? Because one of the rules we try to apply to chess in the opening is you want to develop your pieces and get castled as quickly as possible. And you start with your minor pieces, which are bishops and knights. Because if you bring out your queen that early, really kind of complicated, but again, I'm not doing a full chess lesson because I don't have the time for that. I'm not paid enough for that, but I'm just trying to figure out what I can say. So, because look, when I bring out my knight, which now this knight's better, right, because it's active, your queen is forced to go back, and I get an extra turn. Wow, Pure. Wow. Why you gotta be like that? You come in here, you in my chat, and you insult me. Unless it's a compliment, in which case, thank you. Don't worry, Callum. The more you play the Sicilian, the more you realize you're terrible at it. Anyway. So, here's the thing. We call this being able to play a move with tempo, which is I play the move, and it forces you to do something. You do the thing, and then I get to have another move for free. So it's like I get two moves in a row, because you had to bring the queen out and then bring it back. And that's kind of a waste of time, right? That's the weakness of bringing the queen out super early. Is when you bring out the queen that early, Callum, this applies to me too. I'm not saying, oh, you're bad at the Sicilian. I'm saying the Sicilian's hard. Anyway, when you bring out the queen this early, you risk letting your opponent get free time by just poking it, right? Which is why you usually wait to bring out the queen till later. If you notice, when I was playing, I didn't touch my queen until way later on. Until what move is this? Move 14. Right? You start with your other pieces and get castled. That's step one. So this is completely reasonable. So is this. And this is a similar problem. See, I could have just taken this pawn, right? However, the problem here, this knight is already doing a okay job. How did I blunder that though? This is a blunder because you lose the pawn. And it's a free pawn for me. Yeah, what can I say? What can I say? I'm a Protestant Christian, So I wait till marriage, right? So I wait. And I recommend the same. I should stop talking. Okay. Ignore me, except for my stuff about the actual chess. So. This knight is already improved. Center game, I didn't realize it has a weakness. This is different than the center game. The center game is different. This is the center game. And if you notice in the center game, you play knight f3 afterwards. Because you want to take with the knight. Actually, it's even more normal to play the Scotch, which is a slight variation of the center game where you play d4 after you play knight f3 and knight c6. Yeah, so taking with your queen, it isn't the end of the world terrible. It's not a blunder. It's playable, it's fine. You're not losing immediately because of it. However, I wouldn't recommend it. Because if we notice in this position, right? Boom, boom. It's black to move. It's black to move. And so black can just play knight f6. And now, after 4 moves have passed, both people have played 4 moves. Black has 2 pieces out, and white has 0. Right? And something that a lot of people earlier on in their chess journeys don't realize is that there is no difference between a more active piece and a more valuable piece. An active knight can sometimes be worth more than a rook. Piece activity makes the pieces worth more. So currently, these 2 knights are worth more than these 2 knights, just materially. Like, these are 2.5 and these are 3, you know? Something along those lines. The exact numbers aren't relevant to my point. So it's important in the start of the game to improve your pieces because it's effectively adding more value to the board. It's taking advantage of the potential of your pieces. Started playing the English recently and I'm really liking it. The English is an excellent opening. I don't love it just because I don't like the symmetrical English. Most other lines in the English I don't mind that much, and I actually quite like some of them. It's a very good opening. No wonder why I lost 11 games playing the center game, but then I stopped. I didn't really lose that much. We'll see. Is the Polish a good opening? I would say no, but it's playable. Yeah, English is good. But I'm not talking about specific openings right now. That's not my goal. I'm not trying to say this opening is bad, this opening is good. My point here is to say the general things you're trying to do in the opening, your goals in the opening, right? The goal in the opening is to improve your pieces, make them worth more, and get your king out of the center, right? That's the first goal of a chess game. Make your pieces better, get your king out of the center. Because, I'm going to tell you a little story. Back in the early 1800s, late 1700s, round about then, chess players played very aggressive. They brought out like a knight, a bishop, and then their queen, and they tried to checkmate the opponent. They threw like 3 pieces at their opponent's king, and let he who calculates better wins. Then, this from Louisiana, lawyer, or soon-to-be lawyer, named Paul Morphy came around. And Morphy figured something out. Morphy figured out, hey, hold on a second. Everyone's always trying to figure out these tactics, calculate these tactics, and kind of almost hopes that they work. But if I bring out all of my pieces, if I develop all of my pieces, then all of a sudden the tactics will just magically work for me. The tactics will be easier and work better if more of my pieces are in the game. I'm pretty sure Morphy's from Louisiana. I could be wrong about that, but I'm 90% sure he's from Louisiana. Let me fact check that. I could be mixing it up. Yeah, he was born in New Orleans. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's from Louisiana. Yep. I thought he was. Okay, that's not the point. So Morphe figured out that if you, thank you, Gold. So Morphe figured out that if you bring out your pieces and you develop them all, develop is the fancy chess word we say for bringing your pieces towards the center, then suddenly the tactics will work. It's like magic. Why do I think he was Latvian? I have no idea. So Morphe, instead of queen, bishop, knight, attack, bring the knight in, bring the bishop in, and then Morphe would say, hey, knight, knight, bishop, bishop, queen, castle, and then he would start the attack. Tall is Latvian, yeah. It's not that big a deal. This is obscure chess. This is not obscure. This is random chess knowledge that doesn't exactly improve your game. So it's not that important. I'm just saying it because I like it. I find it interesting. Anyway. And so Morphe then basically took over the chess world. The strongest player in the world by a long shot. It wasn't even close, to the point where after 2 years of playing chess professionally, he retired and said, I'm never playing professional chess again unless I start a pawn down. It's too easy. And it took another 50 years for the rest of the chess world to catch up to him. And so, yeah, Morphe is insane. Arguably one of the most gifted chess players of all time. And so, in some ways, apparently people say it's bad to castle on the left side. It's not bad, it depends on the position. It's aggressive. Whether or not that aggression is warranted, depends. One of my favorite openings, the Sicilian Dragon, white should castle on the left side, and that's the goal. Like, that's very, very normal. But in some positions, you never do it. The reason is because in order to castle from the opening, right? Let's pretend that white's playing chess by themselves. You need 1, 2, 3, 4 moves in your castle. But if you're castling the other way, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need 5 moves. Additionally, if we look at this position, I'm just going to play nothing moves for white, not for black. If we look at this position, the king guards this pawn. It works very well with the rook, and you got this nice little structure, right? The rook is a little bit passive on this square. It's not doing a whole lot, but it does a very good defensive job. Now, if we go the other way, not only does it take longer, but once you actually get there, this pawn is a little bit weaker. The king isn't guarding it, so it's a kind of a weakness. But in return, this rook is in a center square. It's on one of the center files that you already have pushed something on. So this rook is more active. So your king is a little bit weaker, but your rook is a little more active. Additionally, this diagonal is also open in a lot of lines. Meanwhile, if we look at the king side example, this diagonal is not open. Fun fact, I won a game using the exact same moves as the opera game because my opponent was dumb and never studied professional games. Based. The opera game, for those not in the know, is Paul Morphy's most famous game. And it's called the opera game because it was played in opera, and the story goes that the win was so fantastic that people were throwing gold coins at him afterwards. It's just a very pretty game. Highly recommend you look it up. Sorry. Let me just. I need to have like a random hair on my overlay just to mess with people. Anyway. A very famous game. And so, additionally, another thing about castling queenside is if white decides to castle queenside and black decides to castle kingside, something unique happens. Normally, if black and white both castle the same direction, let's say in this position that black decides it's time to castle, I can't really push pawns towards the enemy king without making my king weaker. If I start playing the h-pawn to do something, then suddenly my king has some open squares around him, and it's a little scary. However, if we look at the position where we've castled in opposite directions, I can throw pawns at my opponent all I want. Doesn't make my king any weaker. And black can do the same. He can throw pawns at my king all he wants. Doesn't make his king any weaker. So if we're castled in opposite directions, it usually means some hands are going to be thrown. Somebody's going to die. Because I can very easily start throwing things at my opponent without weakening my king at all. And so usually it becomes a race. Who can kill the other person first? Pawn storm, yes. So that's the thing about castling long. Normally, castling short is more normal. So if you castle long, your opponent's often going to castle short. You're going to end up in a very aggressive position, right? Where both sides are really at each other's throats very, very quickly. So it's not always bad. It depends on the position. Sometimes your best plan is to do this, but sometimes it's a huge disaster and you're going to die for it, right? Part of learning to play the opening in chess is kind of figuring out when to castle long and short. The rule now, like I said before, castling short is much more common. So if you castle short, most of the time you're going to be fine, but you know. Hey, congratulations, Tim. That's huge. So yeah, step one of the game isn't try to figure out the tactics. The tactics are important. They very much are. However, by bringing out all of your pieces first and making them all active and do something, the tactics will usually work better for you. Even if you don't find them, they'll exist more often, right? And that's what happened in our game. I have more pieces out doing things, and my king's safer. So suddenly the tactics work for me. Now you have some stuff to worry about. You played another piece twice. There's a tactic, because I played more actively than you did. So now a tactic exists, right? Tactics come from positional chess. Now, the positional chess part of it's super hard to follow, right? I struggle with it still. It's something you learn and you get better at, but it's hard. But knowing that if you like play good chess normally, then the tactics will appear like magic is a very, very important thing to start. Under 1500, 90% of games get decided by development and tactics. Maybe even under 1700 and 1800. I would agree with that. My standard's like 1700. I'm still a bit underrated there. I still regularly outperform that rating, but it is much closer to my actual strength than it used to be. Which, I mean, the floor change actually seemed like a very good idea, and I think statistically there was a good precedent for it, and anecdotally from my experience, I think it was a good idea. So we'll see, but to my knowledge, it was a good change. Anyway, so step 1: pieces developed and king out of the center. And then step 2 is everything else. Step 2 is when it gets harder. Step 1 is very simple. Step 2 is complicated. And then step 3 is win. Right? Development and castle. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Profit. It was very extreme, but we'll see if it was a good idea or not too. So yeah, that's what I say. That's my little rant on development in chess. It's important. And so that's ended up being a big part of what bit you in the rear of this game. Now, again, I could have played more aggressively with it, but I was kind of feeling things out. It depends on the position, because the problem is that it doesn't just blunder a pawn, it's also positionally terrible, because it opens up my bishop against some weaknesses, and I have like weird queen checks that's threatening me and stuff, so it's actually a bit worse than just blundering a pawn. And then here it's just knowing how to place your pieces, right? Rooks like being on open files, so my rook being in front of this pawn is very good for me. And this pawn is a weakness, and so I ended up taking it, and then I ended up taking another pawn, and now it's just I'm up a ton of material. The subtitles sometimes struggle because I talk a little fast and mumble and start slurring my words together when I get excited, and they struggle to keep up. It's actually a very good reminder for me to slow down and enunciate. It's half the reason I have them, I swear. Okay, Tin, your turn. Also, at some point I tried removing like all the ums and crutch words in general from my diction, but I need to get back on that because it's important. I think it very much changes the way you sound. Go to play we haven't for a long time. Just a second. Take your time. I'll just play some movements on my daily games. Hey. I mean, what's this? 2 pieces worth of work? Play with you again and see if I improve 1 bit. Well, we'll see, because it's getting sort of late my time. And there are a few other people in line. I mean, worst case scenario, I'm going to be here Saturday. But... Sent? Okay, let me see. Here we are. Okay, 10. See what you got. Show me the money. I'm just scared to move because I feel like it's just a blunder. That makes sense. But I mean, you'll never know until you try, right? So look. Step 1, we're both fighting for the center because the central squares are very important. And we're both bringing out our pieces relatively quickly. My opponent is going for a strategy where he tries to take advantage of a potential weakness I've made. Right? And while that might work, it's a little risky because he's delaying castling. He's spending more time pushing pawns and less time getting his pieces developed. So. And that's what my opponent, he took the pawn. Because you can do that. It's just a little bit risky because you have to decide whether or not I have too much speed for it. Because remember, pieces are worth more when they're developed. So if I make my pieces worth more, if my pieces are worth more than yours, it can be a bigger difference than a pawn. That's what a gambit is, right? The point of a gambit is I give you a pawn, but I get more than a pawn's worth in piece development, in piece play, in center, and whatever else. It's I give you a pawn, but in return, I get more than a pawn. That's the idea. So I gave him a pawn, but in return, I have better control over the center. The pawn is very difficult to defend. And my king is already castled and my pieces are developed faster. So, I did give him a pawn. However, he's probably going to give it back, like he just did, because I had a lot of things in return. It was not a free pawn. What do I do in this position? I think I'm going to play knight e5. Why do you castle with your bishop on g2? Makes me army of the wall bot. He's annoying. Okay, so this little structure. So first off, this diagonal is the longest one in the game on the white squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no light square diagonal that's longer. This one's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's only 7. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6. So this is the longest light square diagonal in the game. The fancy French word for it is fianchetto. I think fianchetto is French. No, fianchetto is Italian. My mistake. Because Italy was one of the first places that was developing chess theory. Italian, not French. We have French terms. That's not one of them. So this is a very strong diagonal for the bishop because it's very long and it spies the opponent's rook way on the other side of the board, and it looks at 2 center squares. So this is usually a pretty decent square. A pretty decent square for the bishop. Additionally, this little pawn structure around the king is pretty darn secure. It can be weak if your opponent pushes a pawn towards it, but in this position, we both castle the same direction, you can't really do that. Peace, love, worldwide. Doing good, man? Thank you. Again, it's not the only place you can put your bishop, it's just a very natural one, and I like it. It's a stylistic thing as well. I enjoy putting my bishop on those squares. I think the positions are fun. So I often play positions that have this little structure around the king. It's not necessarily because they are objectively the best structure, I just like them. They're a very good structure, though. Very well respected. Yes, it depends what the position is. Now, most of the openings I play have this plan, and this is a pretty decent plan in most positions. You can get away with this a lot of the time. It's a very common little structure. But it does depend. It changes a lot. Most things in chess depends on the position. It's part of what makes it so complicated. Okay. How do you defeat someone who does stuff just like you did? Well, my opponent's playing a reasonable way. He's fighting back against the center. He's working on developing his pieces. Taking time trying to defeat Wally. Well, you just... I mean, this is going to sound like a stupid answer, but you just play good chess. You know, you play reasonable moves. The way I'm playing isn't a very strange or odd or unique way of playing chess. It's a very normal, rational way of making moves. It's a very normal plan. And so, there's not going to be a foolproof way of beating it, because anything you do, your opponent's going to react to, and there's that little dance, you know, of one person reacting to another person's plans and vice versa. Now, it looks like I might have just blundered some material. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. I think we're good. I got a little spooked, but I think it's okay. I think I messed up a little bit, but And look at this. He's trying to push my knight out and create pawns with the bishop, but look, my bishop's spying his rook. This bishop, look how strong this bishop is. All the way across the board. All the way across the board. Right to the rook. And so he can't take this. If he takes this pawn, then what? I'm going to grab that rook. This bishop, and see, because of that, it ends up very difficult to find moves for it. Again, my opponent's doing decently, but it's a difficult position to play. Well, can't you just take the pawn, though, earlier? No, because this pawn guards it, right? This bishop currently can't take anything, but it is putting pressure. It makes his knight not be able to jump into the center. It makes this sort of stuff difficult. You know? It's placed there to prepare for something to become weaker. Chess will help my game. I can see that. That's one part of what makes development difficult. It sounds easy, but part of it is knowing where pieces want to be based on the position. So I'm playing in a way that makes this bishop stronger. See, my opponent decided to give up the rook because he couldn't see anything better to do. But now I can just move it all the way back. Playing thousands of games helped my game. I mean, I could see that. You know, if at first you don't succeed, right? What is my plan? So I'm going to play this move because his bishop is looking at my rook, and that's a little bit spooky. So now, I've got a material advantage. I have a rook for a knight, which rooks are usually considered to be better than knights. So, that means I should be playing, not slowly, but playing with that knowledge. Yes. Material is good, but it's not the only thing. It's very important. It's one of the most important, but it's not the only important thing. Right? It is very important, don't get me wrong. If you can get material for free, get it for free. Just make sure it is for free, right? I'll elaborate on that in a little bit. Okay. So I want to play in the center. I'm trying to decide if e4 is a good move. This pawn becomes weak, but it kicks the knight out of the center. And this knight is pretty well placed in the center, so I kind of want to do that. I'm going to be patient, though. And so my plan is I want to push this and play in the center. However, when I do that, it makes the center pawns weak. So, in preparation for that plan, I'm going to play rook d1. Maybe. Rook d1, he might have queen d7. Hold on a second. I'm going to play this first. Change my mind again. Kicking the knight out of the center. It's too good. Now I take that. I feel like I'm getting better, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see, right? It's a slow process. You're not going to become a GM in one stream, right? Unless you do, in which case, tell somebody. That'll give me some serious street cred. So what I'm trying to do here, which it might be wrong, I'm not sure if I'm playing this correctly, but my goal here is I'm trying to get pieces off the board. That way my rook really feels better than his currently bishop. Just trying to get to 1,000 elo? Okay, that you can do. I'm not going to say it's easy, you know, it's not easy, but, like, it's definitely possible. Hello, tricky knights. But I'm a bot. Ooh, he's a bot. ChatGPT or... is your creator a little bit more creative? Just feel like I'm weak because I lost 11 games. That's why I'm asking for tips. Well, it happens to everybody. I've lost 11 games in a row. It really hurts when it happens, but, you know, like in any sport, part of it is learning to kind of pick yourself up. Okay. He's targeting this f2 pawn. Currently my queen's guarding it, so it's okay, but I have to be careful. I don't know about that because I'm making a lot of blunders and mistakes lately and I don't like it. It's chess. That's chess, you know? Rook f1 is a possible move, but I don't like it because it invites him to play c3. And I don't really want to do that. In general, you want to give your opponent bad moves. Queen d2, I'm trying to calculate. c3 takes. Is that a problem? Might be a problem. Maybe then I go back to c2. It's tempting the hands of fate a little bit. I'm going to play rook d1. Could be wrong. I like bishop f1. Bishop f1 I'm considering. Bishop f1 means I can never play rook f1. And that's a little spooky because it means there might be some sort of tactic where I get cooked. +2, too easy for you. True! Bars. Bishop F1 was definitely a possible move. It's just... the AI is definitely high-key judging me right now. Okay, now I'm not nearly as afraid because he's not stacking up as much pressure. Now I want to activate my queen. My queen on this square is not doing very much. It's very slow. It's very passive. I want it to be active, so I'm going to move it to a more active square. Hopefully a better square, but it's not guaranteed. I want my pieces to be doing something. I was about to be 700. I stopped playing for at least 3 days, and now I began making blunders and mistakes. Another thing to remember about chess is it's so much... chess has such a huge psychological element. Right? Such a huge psychological element. And so, getting sort of down in the dumps about the chess that you're playing will negatively affect your chess. You will play worse if you're feeling bad. It's a very well-known thing. Psychology is such a huge part of chess. Chess can be emotional. And I would say it very often is emotional. Clear mind helps. Fresh water, maybe? Mm-hmm. For sure. I disagree with this move. I think my opponent played the wrong move. Unfortunately, I do not have any. I know I fit some stereotypes, but contrary to common belief, I try to stay away from addictive substances. Again, the fewer pieces on the board, the more powerful my pieces are going to seem because they're better. A rook is better than a bishop. Now this pawn is very annoying, so it's dangerous. Oh yeah, for sure. Chess is hard. Anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to sell you a course. Okay. So far, so good. I like this move a lot. I mean, I don't mind. He was losing anyway. Okay, now let's analyze that game. See if we can learn anything from it. GG's. Okay, so I didn't play perfectly, but I played decent. Let's see what happens. Knight f3, knight f6. d4, d5. c4, e6. So the point is, if he takes here, which he can absolutely do if he wants, I'm just going to say, okay. So I can play queen check and take the pawn back if I'd like, but I'm probably going to play something along the lines of just e3. And while this is playable for black, I'm just going to take this pawn. And if black starts to get very aggressive and tries to hold on to the pawn, then what can happen is I can just give him another one. Right? And it's very difficult to hold on to all of these. If you play c6, then takes, and this is starting to demonstrate the problem. Yes, my opponent has an extra pawn. However, keeping that pawn is very difficult. My pieces are better. I have more active pieces. That's worth the pawn. And it's very easy to start blundering in these positions. For example, a6 is a blunder. I can take the pawn anyway. Because if you take back, I take your rook. Whoopsie daisy. And so, something like bishop d7 even. Now I play knight e5, and look how my pieces are leaping into action. Yes, I have given up a single pawn. But this knight is amazing, this rook is amazing, this knight is amazing, and this bishop is doing a lot. Plus, this queen can get active in a lot of lines very quickly. And so, because of how much better my pieces are, I have what we call compensation. I have enough other stuff to justify for material. I gave up material, but I got other things in return, and the other things I got in return are worth more than the material. In this position. Sometimes they're not worth as much, sometimes they are. It's difficult to tell. In this position, though, they're absolutely worth more. And this is just an easier position to play with white, in a position where white is better. So, now, that doesn't mean that black is losing if he takes. After e6, you can just play normal chess and play e6 after e3, sorry. After e3, you can just play e6 there, and then after I take, you develop your pieces, and you play normal chess. You don't have to try and hold on to the pawn. And if you notice, a similar thing happened in the game we played. My opponent took, I was like, okay, enjoy. Now, black could try to hold on to the pawn in this position. He could play b5 and say, I'm holding this pawn. You gave me a pawn, I'm keeping it. And while this isn't terrible, it's very, very risky and difficult to play. Stuff like knight e5, and this bishop is immediately very strong, and this knight is immediately very strong. And then you develop the bishop, I play a4, and my pieces are leaping into action. So yes, I've given up a pawn. However, I've got other stuff. I've got very strong pieces and a good control over the center. Is that worth more than the pawn? I don't know. That's the argument. We're having a debate. I'm saying, oh yeah, of course it's worth more than the pawn. What are you talking about? Look at this position. My opponent's saying, what are you talking about? Of course it's worth less. The pawn's worth more. And so we're having a discussion. A formal debate. My favorite positions in chess are those that are a debate like this. Now, my opponent didn't decide not to go for that. He decided to let me have the pawn back if I wanted to. And I went a4 preemptively to prevent b5. Same sort of ideas. I think I want to do bishop g2 and castle, TBH. Go for it. It's a completely reasonable strategy. There are things that black can do to make it complicated, and white can do to make it complicated if you play it as black, but it's a completely normal way of playing chess. Knight bd2, castles, knight takes c4. And if you notice, I'm already slightly better. And if we think about why, just bishop 7, these knights are better than these knights. They are just better. They are active and they're doing more stuff. Additionally, this bishop is better than this bishop, and this bishop isn't actually doing very much. Yeah. This bishop isn't doing much. It looks pretty, but it can't do anything on these squares. And this is a very strong pawn. So usually putting a bishop on this diagonal isn't super helpful if I have this pawn on g3, which I do. So black's pieces and this bishop, it's very difficult to make it better. Where do you put it? It's stuck behind its pawns. So black is a little cramped and a little bit backwards. Meanwhile, I have a lot of space. I have free open range knights. My bishop can get active very quickly. And even the computer's saying I could play something like a5 and restrict his pieces even further. Which is actually a very clever move. Because I'm preventing his pieces from being active. Something else that you start learning as you learn more is making your pieces better is half the battle. The other half is making your opponent's pieces worse. That makes sense. So this move doesn't make my pieces better. It doesn't do anything for my pieces. It makes his pieces worse. And that's just as good. Yeah, I mean, the other stuff compensates for the opening 90% of the time. The opening is one of the less important parts at our level, but... Now, bishop g5 was poor form. It wasn't terrible, but it was just poor. This bishop is not amazing on the square. But okay. Bishop d2 first is even better. That background somehow makes this intense. Everything, chess is intense. Also, my exams are over, so I'm gonna come to streams more often. Ah, sick. Okay, I'm closing the queue because it's late. That means that everyone already in the queue will still get your game, just no one new can join it. There we go. d5, knight bd7. Bishop b4. And see, now I'm just trying to bring my pieces forward. And again, I have an advantage because my pieces are just better. Once again, I played not very good move. a5 was significantly better, but I didn't see this. This move makes sense now that I see it. This is a very good square for black's pieces, and if I take it away, then it makes his position harder to play. Black wants to put a bishop here or a knight here, and if I prevent him from doing that, then it's hard to play as the black pieces. It's just a very rational move, a very sound move in this position. Yeah, I would agree with that, Tim. I wouldn't say you played very poor. Just... No, knight f5, takes. Now b5 was a blunder. A very, very bad move. Just in general, Tin, I'm sure you already know this, but the plan is usually e5 in these positions. Against the Catalan in general, which is the name of this opening, you usually want to play either e5 or c5, and which one you play depends on the opening. In this one specifically, e5 is definitely the plan. You have a rook on e8 and you have a bishop on c7. This e5 plays itself. Because this opens up your bishop, it solves your central problems. It's a very important move. Very thematic. Remember, this is a big problem piece for black. So playing this move solves that. Additionally, this rook currently isn't doing anything. After you push this pawn, if you take or he takes, this rook's open all of a sudden. It makes a few of your pieces better. Yeah, I thought it was the main idea. I don't play the semi-Slav, so. Now after takes, I just get a rook. And evidently this was a poor form. But okay. The queue is not open. I just closed it because it's 10:30 and I have class tomorrow. At least I think I have class tomorrow. What does my group chat have to say? Yep, nobody knows. Okay, great. I'll just go to class tomorrow, and if the professor's there, then great. And if they're not, great. No, he didn't play badly on purpose. He was saying he just made some mistakes. That's what he was saying. And then this is just me cleaning up. Again, I played a little sloppy towards the end here, but okay. We're playing a game versus you. Well, I don't know who's next in queue. It's GM Katsu. No problem, gold. Just be warned, I'm getting a little tired, so my chest is going to start getting worse. Happens every time. Very reliably. So, additionally, I have some strong opponents tonight, so... Okay. We've got us a Alapin. Is it D6 first and then E6? I forget if it's D6, E6, or just D6, D6. Haven't warmed up yet? Well, now's your time. Because I think you're the last person in queue piece. I mean, technically you didn't join the queue, but you were here before the queue started, and so I think it makes sense for you to be in the queue regardless. See, knight b6 always runs into these sorts of things in your position. I think it works here. It's definitely very difficult to play around. Also, if you have any lines against the Spanish, I can't decide if I want to learn the close, the briar, or the martial. The martial's very fun. The problem is, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't white usually avoid the martial? The Yanish is... Isn't the Yanish not sound? Boris Spassky's my favorite. What about you? Ooh. I mean, Mikhail Tal is nice. If I had to pick like an older player, see if I can pick an old player, I really like Fildor. You know, the guy who invented pawn play. Yanish played the candidates though, right? Maybe I'm mixing up what the Yanish is. No, I'm pretty sure this is unsound. I am not mixing it up. This is exactly what I thought it was. I thought this was bad. Most people avoid the martial on that? Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the martial is drawn at top level, yeah, but it's really hard to play the draws lines if I know correctly. But like I said, most people avoid the martial. I know I would be avoiding the martial. Actually, I'm not sure if I would avoid the martial. Kafka Funk, thank you so much for the follow. What a name. That's such a powerful username. Okay. If you think about it, we need the moon more than the sun. I wouldn't say more than. I would say both going away would be pretty bad. Are you in a chess club, man? Yes, I'm actually the coach of my local chess club, which gives me a little bit of imposter syndrome because I'm quite a bit weaker than most other chess coaches in my country, but not in my city. So, a6, bishop a4, f5, and 1. I don't know what to tell you, man. Prague is Prague. I don't think the rules of mortals applies to Prague. Genius, Saitos. Absolute gigabrain play. The Schliemann. Well, the Schliemann's also bad. I mean, I'm like, this is known stuff. I'm not giving hot takes here. Did you know ducks have regional accents? You know what? Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Ducks would be the ones to have regional accents. I want to play the Breyer the most, though, because it's not that popular. It's not that hard to play. And so basically in every Spanish except the Berlin, white's a bit better. I mean, go for it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Try it out. That's my recommendation. If you're not sure what opening to play, give them all a try and see which one vibes with you. Look at some Grandmaster games. Chess isn't big here in Australia? Huh, interesting. It's pretty big where I'm from, but it's just... most of the older generation who are stronger at chess aren't the most interested in moving on to coaching roles. And so, you know, ducks are like electronics. They die sometimes. Now we're speaking real stuff. If I played E5, I would probably play the Open Spanish. I would play the Italian. If I played E5, it would be the Italian for sure. I don't agree with that move. Maybe it's good, but I don't agree with it. Feels wrong. This bishop is incredibly strong, and you give it to me for no reason. Hey, Stein! How you been? Been uncertain on life in general, but I'm doing good. That is a mood, if I've ever heard one. Also, funny story. I started playing Pokemon Inclement Emerald again, now that emulators are readily available on iPhones. And man, that's a good Pokemon game. I'm not doing a Nuzlocke because I'm a coward, but it's hard enough as is. Your tips worked? Hey, let's go. Turn down a job offer to go study was scary? Oh, that's super scary. What are you studying, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, just blundered a queen? We take those. Taking a waiter's education? That's a thing? I was not aware. Cool. Taking the center too? Good stuff. To be fair, at this point, I'm trying to go for the low theory openings that are extremely sound but not popular. Exchange, Caro, Alapin, Breyer, Italian, Semislav. Still can't decide what to play against the French. Also against the Pirts and Fianchettos, I just play casually. Yeah, the Pirts, you can just play chess, and while it might not be the technically best way of playing against the Pirts, it is sufficient. And if that is what you're looking for in an opening, then it'll work. I was offered a bar manager position. The pay was nice, but bad vibes. Well, I mean, continuing your education, if you can afford it, is rarely a bad idea, right? I'm unsure if I made the right move. It's hard to know, man. The modern? What about it? Yeah, I would say the vibes are pretty important. I'm with Callum on this one. Oh yeah, right. Stinking successful countries. I'm half American, half Macedonian. I don't have a working government. Both the countries I'm from together don't have a single working government. What to play against it? I mean, there are a few different systems you can go with. I've always just played normal chess, like normal developing moves, and you can get away with this for a very long time. The modern is not an opening you need heavy theory for if you don't want to study theory. If you want to study theory, there's a few different systems you can find that are very good. But if you don't want to study theory, you really don't have to against the modern. Just go for gambit moves like Queen's Gambit, etc., etc. I mean, you can do that. Again, it's a very simple opening to play if you just want to play simple. Austrian attack is most challenging. The Austrian attack is very good. I can confirm that. But you don't have to. And again, I would say your time is better spent focusing on other things. And if you want to spend the time learning an opening, knock yourself out. It's not going to hurt your chess. Just know what you're getting yourself into, you know? Why can't I just take a pawn? Am I being greedy? I don't see any discoveries. Or better yet, Queen F3. I don't see anything. Aha, I see. Oh, I completely missed that. That's clever. Wow. That's crazy. That's insane. I completely missed that. It's also kind of pretty. Don't even have this, because takes, knight f3, knight f6. Sheesh. Harsh. Okay, well, it's decided for me, I guess. Outsmarted the outsmarter. I told you my chess was going to get bad. It's late. I literally warned y'all about this. But yeah, I'm now going through 2 books, about 700 pages, and after taking university, these books feel like a breeze. Oh, I bet. I mean, if you're getting paid to study, then... And if the vibes weren't good, it sounds like you made the right choice to me. Again, third-party observer. Could be totally wrong, but I intuitively sounds good to me. Do you play variants? I play Chess 960 on Saturdays. Other variants I play with friends for fun, but I don't do anything too serious. Don't even know myself. It's fair. I can't tell you what'll kill your passion, what won't, Callum. Want a game, no blunders and mistakes? Well, there you go, Gold. Not because when you turn 18 in Croatia, you go in the army for like $800 per month for 4 months or so. Oof. Colossal W. Earth-shattering W. Bro is sneaky. Am I stupid for wanting to play Rook C5? It's very overambitious. I probably shouldn't, but that makes me want to more. I'm going to play a rook move, but I'm not sure which one. I promise if I play like rook c2, which is what I want to play, then he has rook b1, king h8, king h7, queen e4 check. It's not fantastic. Rook e8 looks reasonable. Can I get away with rook e8? Rook e8. If I play rook e8, does he go queen d7? It looks like he does. No, but then I have queen g6 check. That's not clear. It's not clear at all. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play that where I am. No, rook d8. What am I saying? He's threatening to just take the pawn. Has to be rook d8. Anyways, I'm about to hit the first 150 pages of my goal for tonight. Hey, cool. 85 accuracy versus 70? That sounds pretty good to me. Sounds like a win to me. Okay, but to be honest, I think my opponent just played bad. So, I mean, that's still a win. You didn't cheat. Queen c6, bishop h6. Yeah. He's being very sneaky. Which I respect, honestly, but it's very annoying. Has to be this, right? This might be a stupid move, but I don't see another good move. Another decent move. Because I castled my opponent, had a chance to ruin my castle. Right. Be that as it may, you still won. I mean, like I said, you didn't cheat, and you won. It's hard to ask for more. This is a bit greedy, but I think I can get away with it. But no, I can't. I'm stupid. I completely just... Ugh. I told y'all I was tired. I specifically warned y'all about this. I mean, I have to try. I'm not going to resign. This guy's being very rude. I don't appreciate it. A rook in a dream? I mean, you gotta try. No, because when our professor is up against us, 30-page books to test some of the deepest things known in human history, was 200, 300 pages, like to write a short summary of a book and describe the main characters. True! I need a longer break from reading. We're heading into wine chemistry, my weakness. Wine chemistry? Well, this is fancy. Turning high society on us. You just gotta make sure no one finds out you have a Twitch account. I just have a really good game? I don't think so. I mean, you played very well, don't get me wrong. I'm just not satisfied with how I played. Kako si, brate? Парен. Малце уморен. Но, що да те кажа? То е то. Треба појки да спијам, но не ќам. Имам многу работи да направам. Браво. Не предуваш? Никогаш не. Can you be my coach? Unfortunately, no. I have work and school and chess club. I work at 3 and 4 star restaurants. I need to know my wines. Oh no, this is great. This is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's been a long time since last play. At least now I'm getting better, even though I beat you while you weren't playing your best. Well, I mean, it still counts as a win. A win is a win. По-английски по-лесно ми е и за другите в чатот е по-лесно заради мислам немаме толкова много македонци. Но како што сакаш. Не ми е гаѓа. I tried. I don't blame you. You were right. I try to be. Again, like a6 here is pointless. I can just play knight d5 immediately. But okay. So I can't take the pawn. Interesting. Yeah, I completely missed d5. No, the vineyards in Macedonia were super welcoming, but the language barrier didn't teach me much. I don't blame you. Macedonian is a fun language. d5 is game decider for sure. Oh yeah, I completely missed it. Fancy. They're very fancy animations. I kind of like them, I'm not going to lie to you. And then I tried, but I mean, I'm down a piece. Like, what is there to do? And then this was even worse. Evidently, I had this and it was triple zeros. I was so close, man. I knew I was making your life difficult. I just wasn't sure how difficult. Evidently, rook e6 and it was... Let me think. Why is this triple zeros? What am I threatening exactly? I don't understand. But on a draw, I can't believe that. So I actually played okay defensively, but I'm trying to figure out why this actually works. Because I can't say I understand it. Let's say queen a8, for example. What do I have? Queen f5. Oh, and I'm just poking and prodding, and you can't quite get in fast enough. That's insane. And I get out. I escape. But you're doing a great job. It's fine to know how you know the vocabulary, but because we had really hard grammar, you talk slow and you sound like Google Translate speaker. Yep. Come on. You can't blame me. Како што знаеш, на англиски има много специфичен ред на зборовите на речениците. Нема бегање од тоа, многу строго. Но на македонски има поќе слобода. Можам било кој збор да биде првиот збор и ова влијае значењето, но тоа е така работи јазикот, така тече јазик. Значи, многу неприродно ми е да зборувам со вариабилни ред на зборовите. Пробам и учам на многу неприродно ми е. И формите како Л форма, разбирам, знам како работи, но немам ништо да направам. Ништо немам. There are new chess spots? Really? И треба да користам јас го често. Значи имам многу искуство. Како што знаеш, универзитетот мој е на македонски. Значи слушам многу, пишам многу. Не пишам толку многу заради нормално на англиски пишам во тетрадката. Значи слушам на македонски, преведувам и пишам на англиски, оти по-лесно ми е. What, you learn in Macedonia? My college is in Macedonian. Факултет ми е на македонски. Факултетот ми е на македонски. Освен курсот по англиски. Ovo беше лесно. Не имаше пас. До сега само паѓав еден колоквиум, но полагав испитот. Значи до сега полагам, да. Оци. Понекогаш можам на англиски да пишам на колоквиумите и ако не имам на англиски да пишам, професорите разбира мојот, како да кажем, посебни потреби. И the Elo is just crazy. Are the robots? Okay, I'll have to know. Crazy. Па, тешко ми. Имам руски. Имам час по руски на македонски. Леле. Катастрофа. You're doing a great job. I'm trying, man. Нема збор. Значи најтешките you lost 90% of us. I'm saying my college is in Macedonian. Руски на македонски? Што те рекол? Што да кажам? So, my college is in Macedonian, which is my second language, which I'm not terrible at, right? But my grammar is very simple. I think so too, yeah. My grammar is very simple. And, but one of my classes in my college is Russian. And so I am learning Russian in Macedonian. Or at least I'm trying to. How much I'm actually learning is debatable. But, okay. Peace, love, worldwide. Teach me Maori? Don't tempt me. Nah, if I'm going to learn another language, it'd be one I'd have to use often, like Greek or something. Wait, what culture is that? Slavianski. It sounds like a confusing mess. It's horrible. Especially since it's somewhat similar to Macedonian, but just not, so it makes things difficult. So, like, for example, the word for table in Macedonian... No, the word for chair in Macedonian is stol. And the word for table in Russian is stol. Or the word for garlic in Macedonian is luk, and the word for onion in Russian is luk. Like, okay, really? Are you trying to kill me? It's not like Macedonian. We have similar words, but it's not even close to Russian. Oh yeah, of course. The grammatical structure is very different. The grammar is very, very different. But the thing is, the words are kind of similar, and so I get them mixed up. The grammar is completely different, which is even more fun because it's hard. We just share Slavic roots to our language, and so a lot of the words have similar roots. Which is handy to some degree, but it's also confusing. You think it's similar, but because you don't know both languages as a native, your name has to see how different they are. They're very different. No, I'm telling you, the grammar completely opposite. Peace to my comrades in this struggle. I think I have only 5%. Yeah, I know, but the 5% confuses me. You're absolutely right, but it's the 5% that confuses me. Like, I know, the Russian, everything's an ending. You don't have things at the start. It's really weird. Bots are easy to beat. Hey, see? Look how strong you are. You're already beating the bots easy. Okay. Peace, love, worldwide. If you want to play a game, tell me just.com name. You'll be the last one in stream tonight. How does it feel? Anyway. When I started learning Japanese last year, I went to Portugal. So Portuguese friend taught me some phrases, and I went on Duolingo. Now I have some Japanese and Portuguese words that I mix up. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. I want to learn Greek, but I can't do Macedonian, Greek, and Russian at the same time. Almagari. Thanks so much for the follow. Okay, let me shoot you a challenge. Did I type it wrong? Oh, you just copy paste it. Real name? Get doxxed. I thought I typed it right, but it's not showing any results. Oh, here we are. Typoed. Why do you live here since you're born in the USA? Work or something? Or well, I've lived here for 9 years, so when I moved, it was my parents' decision, not mine. I was 13, right? Luckily, I'm slowly forgetting the Portuguese, but I'll never forget. Voce fala inglês? My main sentences. Voce... What is it, voce? Because that's like... Speak? Fala... I have no idea what fala means. Inglés is English. Is it do you speak English? I'm guessing? Yeah, I thought so. So I was 13 when I moved. And my parents... We moved here so we could start a non-profit. An NGO. And, I'm staying because I like it here. And because the States is getting crazy nowadays, man. Just from, like, a safety perspective. Nobody spoke English where we were. But I'm sure they all spoke Danish. I'm sure that was easy. Peace, love, worldwide. It doesn't look like you're accepting my challenge. If you'd like, you can send me a challenge, and then I'll accept it. You really think Macedonia is safer? From a physical safety perspective, like risk of physical harm, yes, absolutely. It's not close. It's real scary in the States nowadays. Especially in the places where I used to live and I know people. Macedonians are better English speakers than the Portuguese. Oh, I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket for a flex. Don't know what to do. You can send me a challenge if you'd like. An unrated 10-0 if you don't mind. Discord.com. Big if true. You understand that you came from a house filled with cameras and guards to a house with no house door? We have neighbors. Neighbors are better than the cameras. Unless you're talking, like, unless that's a metaphor for the U.S.'s security. I traveled alone through Macedonia, safe enough? Exactly. Metaphor. Yeah, no, the country is safe from a war perspective. Honestly, I'm not even sure the US is safer from a war perspective because it's a bigger target. I don't mean this the wrong way, but Macedonia is not exactly super duper important in the world stage. Gallimore, unfortunately, you cannot because the queue is closed. I'll try to send you another challenge. When you see the little thing challenge come in, you click accept. And the rest will take care of itself. Or I can also whisper you a challenge link if that's easier. But that's true, but the thing is that unfortunately I'm predicting civil war very soon in Macedonia. Really? You think? What makes you say that? Try to guess why? I legit don't know. If I were to hazard a guess, I mean, I know there have been controversies with the incumbent government, but Alco, can you try the new chess spots? Unfortunately not, I have to go to bed. I'm just trying to get my game in against Peace Love Worldwide. But it's already pretty late. But that really doesn't seem like it's going to lead to civil war. And another thing, the U.S. has their fingers all up in our business for something that bad to happen. I mean, the stinking... How many Albanians voted for the Albanian in the president elections a few days ago? Yeah, that would have been my guess. If I were to guess what you meant, that would have been it. Now, I really don't think that's going to start a civil war. I really don't think... Yes, I know it's a problem. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Albanian party here, but I don't think it's going to start a civil war. I think that's a bit extreme. Oh yeah, I know. I've seen it. I know what you're talking about, Shaco. I voted. I mean, no, I didn't. Not being racist, just saying how it is. No, I know. I'm just saying, I know I'm somewhat familiar. Bro, I'm lost. Okay, I'll send you a challenge link. You click the link, and you'll play against me. We'll do it that way. And we do nothing about it? Yeah, but that's my point. It's going from 0 to civil war is not how this thing normally works. When you're on stream, I'm ending stream as soon as I finish my game with Peace, Love, Worldwide. That's very extreme, Shaco, and I really don't think it's how that works. Lurky time. Gonna look into this horrible chemistry. Well, best of luck. Peace, Love, Worldwide, I DM'd you a link. So you click on the link, and it'll take you to chess.com and directly to my challenge. Yeah, I really think... Again, I know there's been a lot of problems and a lot of controversy because of a lot of the problems, right? I'm not saying that things aren't bad politically. But on the other hand, things have kind of always been bad politically. You have 101.5k viewers right now? Yeah, chess.com embeds. They're pretty sick. I'm better than Moss? Moss? Like Moss Def? Peace, Love, Worldwide. I'm not exactly sure what to do, and I have to go to bed at some point. I've got school tomorrow. I'm relocating to Germany in a week? Oh, congratulations. Super cool. Also, thanks for the follow. Dorothy. Where's the link? I whispered it to you on Twitch. I'm really new? That's fine. Again, I'm not frustrated or anything. It doesn't bother me. The only reason it's a problem is because I have to go to bed. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a big deal. I play unrated. If you're not ready to get embarrassed in chess, then why are you playing? I'm kidding. Peace, Love, Worldwide. There's the link. That should be the link at least. Shaco, relax. It's fine. Yeah. Wait, this is a different person. Hold on a second. I'm guessing this is not you. See, that's the problem. I can't really post it in public chat or someone random will pick it up. No offense, Mr. Katabaza. Of course. You know what's going to happen? I had to try. It's, you know, public chat. I don't blame anybody. Gotta get the app. Again, peace. I really have to go. So I'm sorry, but we'll have to say next time. Again, I've got school tomorrow, and I try to end at 11. Dobro noite. Voila. I've got school, not 11. I've got school at 10. A little earlier. I'm really sorry. Next time. Now, who do we raid? Hold on a second. Let me find someone to raid. Real quick. Oh, I raided Stellar Chest last time. He's also live now. Very convenient. GG's. Night, Sumner. Have a great night, y'all. See y'all Saturday with some Fisher Random. Ciao.